on two trees angled like this to where friends of mine that are investigators that do a lot of stuff on the border say, Craig, that's a rape tree. That looks exactly like wrist restraints for a rape tree. It doesn't look like anything else. This is clearly a disturbing and wrongful thing going on. It's inhumane. It's shocking and upsetting to any decent adult.
Well, and the problem is, though, it's like, this is such a dangerous thing, 'cause it's like if you were going to break into a trap house and try to rob a drug dealer, you know, if you're trying to take their supply. It's the same kind of danger, except almost more so, because it's such more of a high stakes, high money, you know, more value in it that way, right? So it's not that simple, unfortunately. Like, this is like some very organized crime syndicate type stuff in some cases. Like in that case, it seems like it was a pretty small outfit, somebody in their yard and just some small thing. But yeah, Big Homie Cece's doing stuff for the sake of the kids. That's great to hear, man. Like, the more people that are fighting for it, like big and small, you know, we need people that can use their voices, and we need people that can go and make a difference and do the thing too, right? But it's not quite that simple, you know. It is so dangerous. It's you know, it's high risk stuff. That's exactly it. Yep. You just said it, Christina. Exactly.
I'm Deborah Alfarone. We start with breaking news today out of Bethesda, Maryland. Remember this home right here on Danbury Road where a deadly fire broke out in September? Okay, then we told you about mysterious underground tunnels and bunkers that firefighters found when they went inside. Well, now, only on 9, our Bruce Leshan broke the news that Montgomery County wants that house torn down, saying it's unsafe. There are a lot of twists and turns to this story, and still so many more questions. Our Marcella Robertson is live right now at the home with...
Let me guess, without further investigating, they're just going to tear it down? Like, I don't know where this goes, but yeah, trigger warning, guys, for sure. And I don't know where this is going, but it sounds to me, they're going to just, forget it, don't worry about the tunnel, we're just going to tear it down. Nothing to see here. Yeah, for sure, at this point, it's almost $1 trillion a year, yeah. Hundreds of billions. Like, if you took, like, look at what the porn industry earns. Like, the adult porn industry, how much it's earning. Now, times that by, like, 10. Yeah, I've got it at the bottom, too. The may contain mature subject matter, viewer discretion is advised. But, yeah, still, just everybody, this double warning. And thank you guys in the chat for covering that, for just in case. Just to make sure everybody knows, because this is some dark stuff. This is it. We're getting right in the nitty-gritty now.
Really, what's next at this point, Marcella?
Yeah, Deborah, well, this story seems to just get more and more bizarre as time goes on. It's been 4 months since there was a fire inside this home here. The crime scene tape is still up. There is still a dumpster here outside the home, but exactly what happened inside, that is still a mystery. And again, now the county says that it's unsafe and it needs to be torn down. Now, the owner of the home is a man named Daniel Beckwith. We have been unable to get in touch with him. He did make it out of this home okay, but another man inside did not. Askia Kafra died back in September when that fire broke out. Now the county recently sent out a letter to some neighbors saying the home was unsafe, filled with an extensive network of tunnels, chambers, and bunkers, both under the home and also digging out of the home. What is still such a mystery and so unclear is exactly what those tunnels were being used for. Apparently, Kafra, though, was working on those tunnels when that fire broke out. Now,
I wonder, what or where, why would they be having these tunnels? Like, what would they be using it for, you know?
There's also an extensive amount of hoarding and feces all over the home, according to that letter. The county says with all of those tunnels, the home itself is unstable, and so is part of the public street out here. Now, another important part of this story is that 4 months later, Kafra's family is still without answers. It is still unclear exactly what caused the fire and exactly unclear how he died. We'll have much more about this bizarre story coming up tonight at 11.
Yeah, well, that's the thing too, guys. Think about some of those sinkholes, like when the road just suddenly has a sinkhole and starts collapsing in places. Because you got to think, a lot of these tunnels, like maybe not with this house, it sounds like this was something somebody dug out in their own house, which just goes to show, you know, like it could be anywhere, anytime, any place. But the Prohibition era tunnels, like in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, you know, 1950s, were built. They're not all necessarily being taken care of or being maintained, right? So then we get all these sinkholes popping up all over the place and like buildings collapsing in like New York and in Toronto and stuff like that. Why do you think that is? You know, it's not just that the building's getting old, it's whatever's underneath is getting old.
Thank you so much, Marcella. We are going to have a lot more updates on this, of course. Marcella's out there trying to get those answers for you right now.
Human trafficking is basically modern-day slavery, and it's happening in places you might not realize. I had the chance to talk with the FBI agent in charge for Nevada today about how to spot it and what to do when you see it.
This is going to shock you. Most human trafficking people are United States citizens.
Nevada's top FBI agent told me sex trafficking is all around us, and he needs us all to be eyes and ears to stop the growing problem.
You might be the person that spots something like that and have the opportunity to call the police, call the FBI, and report that suspicious activity that allows us to act and save a life.
It's hard to wrap your head around when you start to consider the numbers and how large it is and how prevalent it is and what is actually happening on a daily basis.
Keith McCoy is a citizen advocate for spotting human traffickers. He says the signs are subtle, but they're there.
There are signs that you can find. A lot of times it'll be someone who's...
I have one of the videos coming up is a map that shows there's one that's one of the largest drug smuggling tunnels ever, but sure as shit, they're probably not just using it just for drugs. But there's, where is it? Another one, most sophisticated tunnel in U.S. history. Longest illegal underground. Like, there's a bunch of videos about it, but you don't hear about it. You know? Another one, discovery of the Mexican border. Where's this other video? Maybe it didn't download in time. I might have to go back and grab it. There was one that said, you need to know where this... Did I not get that one in there? Oh, okay. One of the final clips is, you need to know where this map claiming to be human trafficking hotspots came from. So, make of it what you will, but it's one of the videos I've got in here. And that's actually something I've kind of got my own little map going that I've been tracing and tracking certain large busts and like different communities that are based on whatever... I don't know how much, like which way to say this if I'm even allowed, but different groups that believe in marriages and multiple wives and it not being adults every time, you know. There's a ton of those communities that still exist, but it's like they have, they kind of find legal loopholes, and where they're located, it's like right on the border of 2 to 3 states or whatever, so it's like out of everyone's jurisdiction, and you know, nobody wants to have to deal with it, and like there's so much more to this, guys, that if we really wanted to dig into the nitty-gritty, we could go deep, we could go dark, but I think just, you know, little bits at a time and getting everybody on the same page is the start. We don't want to go full force either, you know. We want to keep it bite-sized pieces that a general audience can absorb, because if we're going too hard too fast, you know, like it can disrupt your psyche, you know. It's trauma just hearing about it, right? Which missing children website? It's there. I think there might be a little behind on the stream. That's okay though. But yeah, no, we're gonna touch on a bunch of stuff here, but it goes so much deeper. There's so much more to it. There's hubs all across everywhere that, you know, they can be hopping across, and it's like having truck stops or gas station stops almost, you know what I mean? Like, but they have places that they know are part of the same organization in such a way, you know, because it's not just people with things going on in their backyards or in the basin or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, there's so much going on, man. It's so bad. But we're up, like I said, we're waking up, people are paying attention, and that's what counts.
Who's dressed much differently than the person that they're with. Maybe it's a female who is a little more dressed up than the gentleman she's with.
So think about the restaurant industry, cleaning services, construction sites. All of them are potential locations for people that are being trafficked.
And Rouse told me, despite what you may think, Las Vegas is no more busy with human trafficking than any other American city.
So really, there's no difference between Las Vegas and other areas. This is not just a U.S. problem. This is an international problem. And we'll see human trafficking take place in all of the 50 states. All 56 field offices of the FBI are actively engaged in countering human trafficking.
Human traffickers prey on vulnerable young people, often online, and eventually use fear to keep them enslaved.
The majority of people who are trafficked are groomed into trafficking. They are young children who are runaways, who are maybe in disenfranchised homes. They're at-risk youth, and these people will go online. They will start conversations in chat rooms. They will empower these women to feel as if they're loved or they're cared for.
And again, men and women are equally victims of human trafficking, and in about half the cases, human trafficking feeds a growing illegal labor.
Oh no, we're good. Like the clips I've selected are good. We're not going to go too deep dark just now. We'll be good, but yeah, apparently he's doing some tours. You know, I would rather support a creator though that's like an urban explorer that, you know, isn't already super famous. You know what I mean? Like there's a Stringer Media is a good guy that does underground tunnel exploration. Another guy is Dancer 2, I think, something like that. But the world's oldest underground subway, like the biggest and oldest one, we can watch that after too if you guys want, because like I want to try to keep going for as long as I can here, of course. And this is just a few minutes of clips that's just kind of going to give you guys a little more information about like really how prevalent this is, how really right in your face it can be, and why, you know. And then yeah, as a break, like it's not necessarily right about trafficking, it's just about these tunnels, like a big underground tunnel that we can check out too. But I mean, even that, it's like they are bringing attention to it. So like, but people don't want to believe that the tunnels exist, but it's right in front of your face. They obviously exist. If Mr. Beast is also doing a deep dive tour of an underground city or whatever, you know, I don't know. Or if you guys want to, like, I guess we could do like a vote. But honestly, yeah, I would rather support and do a reaction to a smaller creator, I guess is all. Support the little guys.
Market.
Today, U.S. Border Patrol found the longest ever drug smuggling tunnel on the southwest border. We're taking a look in news and numbers. Tonight, it's 4,370 and 15. Agents say the tunnel, which starts in Mexico and ends in San Diego, stretches over 4,300 feet. The tunnel was discovered last August, and investigators say it's taken them months to map and explore the tunnel. The entire system, which is 70 feet below ground, is more than just a simple tunnel. It has a rail car system to speed up travel, plus forced air ventilation and a drainage system.
What is that? How does that sound familiar to somebody that's been trying to tell us about the tunnels? All that sounds pretty familiar, doesn't it? It's got its own ways of transportation. It's got different air, the whole thing. Like, that's what Ellie's been talking about the whole freaking time. Have I heard of the Canadian YouTube creator Jeff Steed? No, I sure have not. I don't watch a lot of creators in general. It's just like if it has to do with the research I'm doing or anything to do with the overall effort, I come across different channels and different things, you know, interviews, whichever, for research. But there's not really any creators that I that I would watch on a regular, you know what I mean, that I keep up with or anything like that. So I don't know who that is. Do they do tunnel searching? Like, are they a small creator that's doing like urban exploration and looking at tunnels? Oh yeah, it's been a thing for a whole time. Like the one guy does. We probably can't watch it, but the one guy ended up getting a little spanking from the Bohemian Grove. He had snuck into the Bohemian Grove and had footage of the actual ceremony going on, and he was hiding, and he does a whole big tour basically. Actually, I think in the Eyes Wide Open group, there's one of the clips that's one of the clips I shared in there. But yeah, some of these guys, like, they're putting themselves at risk to go to show us the thing. It's not just for entertainment purposes, you know what I mean? So that's kind of where I would rather lean towards, but I don't know. Let me know though if that Canadian guy you're just saying, if he's kind of a littler guy, and he's doing the urban exploration and the Just C guy, if he's doing tunnels and stuff, we can check that out too. Pretty much like this is a group project. We can decide whatever you guys want to do. We'll vote. You know.
Those fancy additions have become a trademark of smuggling tunnels along the border. Authorities have found 15 sophisticated tunnels on California's border with Mexico since 2006, with hallmarks including lighting, hydraulic lifts, and electric wiring.
Craziness, man. It's real though. It's real life. Oh yeah. No, yeah, that we might have to say that for another day, because that's some of the stuff they don't really want people talking about. They don't want people to really know about it. But that's a good suggestion for anyone who wants to check that out, like 100%. But maybe we save that for another day. We gotta wait. We gotta kind of keep up with the Great Awakening, you know, and color within the lines so that we don't get, you know, we won't be good to nobody if we go too close to the sun and you know what I mean. We just gotta be calculated a little bit. Yeah. Well, some people go there when it's off season and they go on a little tour and they capture that now, you know, like everybody's got a camera in their pocket and people get a little ballsy, you know, it's shit, all the power to them. Like, I'm feeling like I'm already on, like, like flying kind of too close to the sun just with what I do, but to go right into the source, like right into the hornet's nest, it's pretty scary.
New images coming in late today of what authorities are now calling the longest underground tunnel ever discovered along the U.S.-Mexico border. You'll see it tonight, nearly a mile long, 70 feet down, with electricity, ventilation, even an elevator. So where did it lead? Here's ABC's Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas tonight.
Tonight, you're looking inside the longest illegal underground tunnel ever discovered on the southern border.
And this is, I think, the same. It's like same report, or same tunnel, different report.
From Tijuana, Mexico to San Diego, nearly a mile long. Authorities suspect it's been used by cartels to smuggle tons of drugs into the U.S.
Yeah, did you see that? He wouldn't have... Well, they did end up getting caught. One of his friends got caught, and he was still hiding in the bushes. A few people have tried, though. Like, you might be thinking a different video. I don't know. But he got, like, he did a whole full tour, and then he got to the edge of, like, a higher-up place, though. So he was, like, out of sight and out of the way. And he was able to record it from, like, kind of almost an aerial view. But he was saying his friend had got caught or whatever, and then the guy disappeared for a while, like, and the other video got taken down, and it was a whole freaking thing, man. Like, it's not, it's, you know, it's not for the weak, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta really have a strong constitution, gotta have big balls, and really not be, like, no fears whatsoever, and, like, you know, I think for me and the way I do stuff in my research, whatever, like, maybe that's probably as, you know, close to the thing as I'll get. You know, there is some locations and some stuff I do want to visit one day and check out myself and do some kind of documentary thing about, but I definitely know where my limits are, and I'm also from Canada too, right? So there's only so much, so close, and, you know, so far I can get with things. But yeah, he started doing really good stuff. He was really smart in the way that he branched talking about paranormal stuff into the whole conspiracy thing. Like, he had an audience, a big audience from TikTok and on YouTube with the paranormal, and then he flipped the script. Genius. Because, like, none of that stuff you'd be able to ever get that far before. You know, like, I've seen a lot of good channels go down for going too close, flying too close to the sun, going too close to the jugular, you know what I mean? And they just don't make it. But he was smart about the way that he went about it, and I guess he just had done enough of the haunted house paranormal thing, and then he realized how many kids that are no longer with us, that didn't make it to adulthood, you know, and so he kind of flipped the script and started going ham, revealing some stuff. But I honestly, there's some stuff he's posted, I'm like, oh man, rip this guy. Like, hopefully, like, but he's a big guy, and I feel like he's always got enough people around, and he's, like, smart about it in a different way, and we need more people like that too. Like, everybody counts. Everybody that's for the effort is super important, but I'm pretty impressed for how far he's been able to get with it. And but he was even saying, like, now he's trying to collect for the GoFundMe to work on his next thing, because, like, I guess he's getting some struggles a little bit as far as being able to monetize or whatever on that. I don't know. But yeah, man. No, he's been doing some good work on that stuff and like some pretty serious deep dives. But I feel like with some of it too, like he's only still scratching the surface in ways. Like, but the closer he's getting, I'm like, oh geez, like this guy's this guy's getting a little close to it. Like, you know, I only watch things here and there. Like I was researching like the Presidio thing, and I'm looking into the North Fox Island thing. Like there's a bunch of these different groups that seem to connect back to the John Bonet thing in a big way. So I've been watching some stuff about it, and so yeah, I'm familiar with the guy, the Conspiracy Files, Paranormal Files guy. He's ballsy. He's going for it. But honestly, like the more the merrier, you know, like they can't silence us all, so it's good. He's doing, you know, light work. He's a light warrior.
Anything they can to get their illicit products into the United States.
About 70 feet below ground, a highly sophisticated tunnel built with an elevator, rail system, ventilation, electrical cables, and panels. Likely a multi-million-dollar construction project by drug cartels which have the resources of Fortune 500 companies.
And then they're saying it's just for drugs, right? Like they still don't want to tell you, because you think they're only using this for drugs. Like, you know, in my opinion, not saying like allegedly. I don't know. Who knows for sure? But I'm thinking it's more than just drugs going down those tunnels. Let's be friggin' real here.
Authorities suspect that the tunnel, 5.5 feet tall by 2 feet wide, has contributed to the epidemic of overdose deaths here at home.
The tunnel discovery is another drastic reminder of how serious the drug problem is.
Yeah, like the people that you know straight up are taking a risk doing what they're doing, those are the ones we got to be watching. Like Mr. Beast, it's a whole, like we already know a bunch of his stuff is not, like it's theater, you know what I mean? So I would be less likely to trust that, you know, the realism of that versus some of these guys that I know for sure are putting themselves at risk doing what they're doing, you know?
And how the cartels will take risks and expend endless amounts of money to get deadly drugs like fentanyl and methamphetamine into the United States.
Yeah, well, the same goes, though, if we're looking at it, like, if you think about it, you know, it's all the same stuff.
Incredible pictures tonight. Pierre, do we know who was running this operation?
David, a bit of a mystery. The investigation is ongoing. They have not made any arrests or seized any drugs, and it's unclear how recently this tunnel was in use, David.
All right, Pierre Thomas on the story tonight. Pierre, thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube.
No, we're just another channel that mirrors their content and spreads it around in the way that they would like us to, so that it gets the word out in as many different places and whatever is possible. Like how she's always saying, like, make sure you guys are screen recording, post it around, spread the word. I'm just one of the people doing that. And then participating in the virtual march. She wanted everybody on their own platform, however, whatever they got going on, whether it's a big influencer, small influencer, whatever they got, she's wanted all of us to participate in this virtual march, and so that's what we're up to at the moment.
This is one of the most sophisticated tunnels we've seen in the United States, just because the material used to build it and the terrain that it had to traverse through, it makes it really special. This tunnel in particular had a wood pallet floor the whole way of the tunnel, and it had a rail system running through it as well.
To have access into the United States, circumventing all local and federal authorities, is invaluable to this. I mean, to these organizations, the ability to just move back and forth underground to commit their illegal activities is really hard to put a value to it. So the fact that we were able to stop it before it was completed is a big success.
Okay, it's I probably could have clipped some of these bits out, the end bits. Sorry, guys. I kind of slapped it together though for this moment. But here we go.
This is the innermost part of this compound, and it gives you a true sense of what these children had to endure. Some of them were living cramped up inside of this RV, and we now know that it looks like some of them may have been living inside of this tunnel. It is extremely confined down there. The property owner has allowed us to mount these cameras here so we can show you what these kids faced.
Tonight, exclusive video from inside the tunnel where children's clothes and toys were found 5 feet underground. A room believed to be dug inside by children with shelves for candles and lamps, bedding, and kids' books.
Like, and think about that. Like, look at that. The way that that tunnel is, it's so primitive. It's so simple. Anybody could do that. Anybody could go get a pickaxe and a shovel and dig a hole and then put a little shed on top, or like in this case they've got the trailer situation, whatever the heck is going on here. But like, think about how easy this is, you know, like this, and this is just small scale stuff. Like with the stuff that Allie talks about, it's obviously a lot more of a bigger organized thing, but with this, like, it could start at any level, you know. There's small, medium, large. It's same with like with drug dealers, you know. You've got the street level people, you got the distributors, you got the people bringing it in, smuggling it in from out of the country, and so on and so forth, you know. Like, we gotta start understanding it as a whole and not just be thinking like that it's just kids getting snatched out of their backyard or whatever, you know. Yeah, you're dying over there. Phone's dying, Angel. You're doing a great job. I appreciate you guys. Both of you guys helping. You're doing a good job. I really it's good to have some help keeping things moderated in the chat there.
It's just one of the horrors that 11 children were forced to endure. No running water, babies as young as 1 year old living in the desert heat, squalor inside of a buried RV, bunk beds in a U-Haul still littered with bullets. The property owner incredulous over what investigators left behind.
There's birth certificates, there's copies of social security cards.
Around the compound, small reminders of a child's innocence, sketches of hearts and flowers. But on the firing range, today, a disturbing discovery.
So this target right here looks like it was drawn by hand by a little child in blue marker. It's got a little girl's name on it, and then a shotgun blast to the chest and one to the head.
Oh, you're good, Lindsay. You're fine. Just wondering if I was going to have more honest, straightforward coverage. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's the thing. You got to think, like, once you get to a certain point, like, you're more complicit with a certain narrative, you know? Where if you're more on the low, like, the smaller side of things, the lower end of things, too, it's, like, it's same, I guess, you know? And same with creators. You got the little guys that are, you know, it's an uphill battle because they're not doing what sells, you know? And then the people that are doing what sells, obviously, like, but then you got to wonder where their loyalty lies, right?